I was standing outside of the Broncos locker room at Mile High after they had just lost to the Texans last Saturday night. And to be honest, I was waiting for the doors to open up and the media period to begin so I could get my interviews done and go home. As I was waiting there, I heard a pair of media members behind me talking about Welker. Now, keep in mind, we didn't know if he'd actually had a concussion yet. And all we knew at that time is that he got rocked pretty hard by Swearinger, and they were looking into it. But when one of them asked, do you think we will ever see Wes Welker play again? I thought, maybe they know something I don't know. It turns out they didn't. The two media members were just speculating, just assuming that if Welker indeed had another concussion, he might hang him up for good. Now, this baffled me. But they weren't the ones who were crazy. Apparently, I was the one who was crazy. I was the one who wasn't thinking clearly because it was announced minutes later that Welker did have a concussion, and by Sunday morning, the next morning, the world was telling him to retire on Twitter. The greatest slot receiver the league had ever seen. Unarguably, the greatest slot receiver the league had ever seen, unarguably, should retire after a preseason concussion, they're saying. The man who rattled off 5 seasons with over 110 catches and possesses 3 of the top 10 greatest reception seasons of all time should just walk away. I must admit, it was humbling to find out that hundreds of my Twitter followers consisted of neurobiologists with an expertise in cognitive science. I was shocked. Who would have known? Business must be slow for how often they appear to be on Twitter. I mean, people are actually saying that he's too small to play all of a sudden. This is a guy that's played football his entire life, spent a decade in the NFL, has been hit literally thousands of times. You think he's only had 3 concussions, but in reality, he's had hundreds of concussions throughout his life. I played football for 12 years. I played through a concussion so bad one time, I didn't even know what side of the ball I was on. I get it. If my Al Bundy-esque high school story isn't good enough for you, NFL All-Pro Chad Brown's might. He told me that if he wasn't getting his brain rattled, if he wasn't getting lightheaded, he wasn't hitting hard enough. I'm not telling you this because I'm advocating brain trauma. I'm telling you this, ladies and gentlemen, is a natural occurrence in football. We are just now taking the necessary precautions to protect players, but for years, we, pertaining to all levels of the sport, played through concussions. And you know what? Getting concussed does become easier the more often it happens. And yes, there is a higher chance of it happening again. But you aren't Wes Welker, and I'm not Wes Welker. You aren't his doctors, and I'm not his doctors. You are not his wife, as much as some of you may like to be, and I am not his wife. Wes Welker knows the ramifications of playing the game. He's dedicated his life to it and is on a team that gives him a better chance to win a Super Bowl than any team he has ever been on. And that's really saying something. To put it bluntly, nobody is more informed on the situation than Wes Welker. Welker's a 5'9", 190-pound man that has dominated a game ruled by giants for a decade. If he wants to give it another shot, who are you to tell him otherwise? Who are you to tell him to reject millions of dollars because he might get another concussion? Every concussion is different. Wes Welker might get another one. He might get another one after this one and sit out a couple weeks and play again. It just depends on how severe it is. This isn't the 70s or the 80s. Hell, this isn't even the 90s. The players, coaches, and doctors have a lot of information at their fingertips, and if the conclusion is that Welker can play, then Welker should play. Just to set the record straight, it's none of your business anyway. That's my take on the Wes Welker situation.